In this video, I'm going to describe some of the options open to you if you're ready for your first flight experience or introductory flying lesson. This video is for people who have little or no experience of aviation and would perhaps want some basic questions answered in plain English. First of all, let's be clear about what we mean by a trial flight, an introductory flying lesson, and a flight experience or a pleasure flight. An introductory flying lesson or trial flight are pretty much the same thing in that it's an opportunity for the person to experience flight in a light aircraft with a view to perhaps undertaking flying lessons and obtaining a pilot's license. A flight experience could lead on to further lessons too, but it may also be a one-off event like some aerobatics or a scenic aerial tour, perhaps given as a gift for a special occasion. A pleasure flight often doesn't involve any flying by the recipient and is designed to be more of a sightseeing tour, a chance to relax and enjoy the views as you are flown around prominent landmarks. Trial flights and flight experiences usually amount to anything from 15 to 60 minutes with a qualified flying instructor, during which you will have ample opportunity to fly the aircraft yourself. Now let's look at the various types of aircraft that are available for anyone considering a trial flight or flight experience. One way to categorize them is to divide them into two main groups: fixed-wing, light aircraft of various types, and rotary-wing, helicopters and gyrocopters. Fixed-wing aircraft might be high-wing aeroplanes like a Cessna 150 or 172, or a low-wing aircraft like a Piper PA-28. There are many other examples of light aircraft, but the essential difference is that the aircraft will have the main wing above or below the cockpit. High-wing aircraft give excellent visibility, but the view upwards is obscured, while the converse is true with low-wing aircraft. The debate goes on with fans of both types. Some people prefer high-wing because they are designed to be more stable, while others prefer low-wing because it feels more like a real aeroplane. My advice is try both and decide for yourself. Another aspect to consider is monoplane or biplane, i.e. one wing or two. And you can also throw in the option of open cockpit or canopy. Consider the difference between an open cockpit Tiger Moth and a Slingsby Firefly T6. With the former, you will experience slow and sedate flying in a vintage aircraft. The wind will be in your hair and you'll be able to experience pure flying with stick and rudder. With the latter, you'll be able to experience much faster flight, aerobatics, and responsive handling in the comfort of a cockpit with a canopy. One other option worth mentioning is tailwheel or nosewheel aircraft. Most modern aircraft have the main wheels under the wings and third wheel under the nose. This keeps the fuselage horizontal when on the ground. However, there are plenty of light aircraft with the third wheel under the tail. As with high and low-wing aircraft, you'll hear the pros and cons of each described by instructors and pilots alike, so again, try both if you can and go with the variant that you find more appealing. Now let's have a quick look at rotary-wing aircraft, starting with gyrocopters. Gyrocopters are great fun and make an ideal flight experience. One of the most significant differences in flight is the greatly reduced amount of fuselage around you. If it's an open cockpit gyrocopter like the MTO Sport, then you really notice the absence of the airframe of conventional aircraft. The view is of course excellent and you can see as far as your neck muscles will allow. There are also gyrocopters with canopies like the Calidus and Cavalon models. This gives you more scope for flying in worsening weather and generally flying in more comfort. A trial flight in a helicopter, on the other hand, could be a very pleasant flight experience that lingers as a happy memory, or it could be the start of a career. Think of all the many ways in which helicopters are flown in civilian and commercial life, and think of all the advantages they have over fixed-wing aircraft. Flying helicopters well requires skills developed through plenty of practice, but once mastered, many pilots never look back and fly nothing else. Finally, a few words about microlights. Most people are familiar with the term microlight and will have seen them flying with the pilot suspended underneath, pushing a bar forward or pulling it back to climb or descend. These are flex-wing microlights, but there's also fixed-wing models that look like conventional light aircraft, but are much more basic in design and therefore below a certain weight limit. They may not be as powerful as larger aircraft, but the net result is that they are less expensive to operate, so lesson prices are lower. Flying is tremendous fun and leaves memories that last a lifetime. Just listen to old pilots, and you'll soon realize this is true. Even a one-off flight experience like 30 minutes of aerobatics is a present that will last far longer than the event itself. Book yourself a trial lesson, visit your local airfield, give the gift of wings to friends and family. Who knows? Perhaps your gesture could be the catalyst that started a career in aviation for a family member. Or maybe you'll take up flying and enjoy many hours in the air, making new friends and visiting places you would never otherwise have seen.